Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. The total cost of an internet phone call is the sum of a basic fixed charge for using the internet and an additional charge for each minute that is used. The total cost of a 20-minute call is $24 and the total cost of a 35-minute call is $31.50. What is the total cost in dollars of a 40-minute call? Okay, let me assume Y as a total cost for using internet phone call. Okay, let me write it. And X as a number of minutes we use in an internet phone call. Let me write it. And A as a basic fixed charge. Let me write it. A basic fixed charge. And B as additional charge for each minute. Let me write it. Here, X and Y are variables, A and B are constants. Actually, X represents a number of minutes. A number of minutes cannot have a fixed value because it depends on the requirement. So, X is a variable. And Y represents the total cost. This one also cannot have a fixed value. It depends on the time the internet phone call is used. And A represents a basic fixed charge. Always it will have a fixed value. So A is a constant and B represents additional charge for each minute. So this one is also having a fixed value. So B is a constant. Now what we have to do is we have to write the total cost function which is defined by Y. So the total cost Y equals to the basic fixed charge that is given by A positive the additional charge for the time we use internet phone call. Okay, to get the additional charge for the time we use the internet phone call, what we have to do is we have to multiply the number of minutes and the cost per minute. The cost per minute is B, that is the additional charge for each minute. When I multiply X and B, I'm getting BX. So this is the additional charge we have for using X number of minutes of the internet phone call. Okay, now this one represents the total cost function. Okay, in this total cost function, our aim is to find the values of the constant A and B. Once I get the values of the constants A and B, the cost function will be complete. Once we get the complete cost function, we can plug in this 40 for X over here because X represents the number of minutes and here 40 minutes we have to find the total cost for 40-minute call. So we have to plug in 40 for X and we have to find the value of Y which represents the total cost. Okay, now for that we have to use the information here. That is the total cost of a 20-minute call is $24. That is when I plug in X equals to 20, the value of Y is 24. Okay, let me plug in over here. So the value of Y is 24, A positive, and the value of X is 20. When I plug in X equals to 20, I am getting B times 20. It can be written as 20B. And also we can use a second information. That is the total cost of a 35-minute call is $31.50. That is when X equals to 35, the value of Y is 31.50. Let me plug in. So the value of Y is 31.50, A positive, and for this X we have to plug in 35 times V is 35B. Okay, now we have two equations. This is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. Okay, we have to solve these two equations for A and B. Okay, if I subtract these two equations, I'll be able to get rid of A. Once I get rid of A, I can find the value of B. Okay, well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the first equation from the second equation. Okay, now let me write the second equation over here as it is. It is 31.50 equals to A positive 35 times V. Okay, so here we have negative sign in front of the first equation. That is, we have to multiply both sides of the first equation by negative sign. Then I'm getting negative 24 on the left side. When I multiply both A and 20B by negative sign, I'm getting negative A, negative 20B. Then I'm getting, so here positive and negative will cancel out. When I simplify this one, I'm getting 7.50. And when I combine positive 35B, negative 20B, I'm getting positive 15B. Okay, now to solve for B, I divide both sides by 15. When I divide both sides by 15, this 15 will cancel out. 7.50 by 15, I'm getting 0.5 equals to B. Okay, now I got the value of B. Okay, now to get the value of A, what I have to do is I have to plug in this 0.5 for B, either in the first equation or in the second equation. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in this value 0.5 for B in the first equation to get the value of A. Then I'm getting 24 equals to A positive 20 times for this B, we have to plug in 0.5. then we get 24 equals to A positive. When I multiply this 20 and 0.5, I'm getting 10. Okay, now to solve for A, let me subtract 10 from both sides. When I do so, this positive 10, negative 10 will cancel out. 24 negative 10 is just 14 equals to A. Okay, now I got the value of B and A as well. Now I have to plug in A equals to 14 and B equals to 0.5 into this total cost function. Okay, now let me erase this stuff and continue the problem. Let me plug in A equals to 14 and B equals to 0.5 over here. Then I'm getting Y equals to 14 positive 0.5x. Okay, the total cost function now it's complete. Now what I have to do is I have to plug in X equals to 40 over here to get the total cost for a 40-minute call. Okay, let me do it. Y equals to 14 positive 0.5 times 40. I plugged in X equals to 40. Then I'm getting Y equals to 14 positive. When I multiply this 40 and 0.5, I am getting 20. So when I add 14 and 20, I am getting 34. The total cost in dollars of a 40-minute call is 34.